Any questions for Leilani? Kareem?
Hey, Leilani, just kind of take us a little bit through your thoughts. I mean, 25 points, you were knocking down big buckets all night long. How heartbreaking is it to have it end in that fashion?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one to swallow. Obviously, we played pretty well for the most part, and I thought we deserved to win. We came up with some big plays down the end. Um, Obviously, I missed my free throw, and then Shea hit that big three. So, I mean, it's tough. I guess you just got to kind of put the season into perspective, and all the growth that we went through. A lot of players really grew up a lot this season, and I think we'll be better for it next year.
Christy?
Leilani, I know that Coach Tebow said that he was proud of the team's effort for the season and getting to the playoffs. And how proud are you of him and the staff for just continuing to give the team hope and encouragement along the way?
Yeah, I mean, the reason I signed it at Washington was because I have so much respect for Coach T and the whole staff. And, he's been around for a long time. He's, I think, won the most games as a coach in the WNBA. So he knows what he's doing. And, he knew coming into it, it'd be a process, with all our players. We had 4 players sitting out. 4 starters, most likely sitting out. So he was patient with us. Obviously, I'm sure he was super frustrated during all those losses we had, but he stayed positive. He came to the gym, kept harping on us, telling us what we needed to do to improve. Took a while to get it through our head, but we finally did. And so proud of the team, especially this last few weeks, the way we've bounced back from that, tough stretch. And, I think that's probably what's most frustrating is that we've been playing so well lately, and it would have been nice to see, for us to move on and see how far we could have went in the playoffs.
Jen?
Hey, Leilani. I'm curious whether you feel like you've grown in ways that maybe you wouldn't necessarily have had to grow if the full roster was able to play and you were playing more of the role you expected to when you signed on the dotted line.
Yeah, I think so. I think early on, I was a bit probably just not being as demanding and as not as I guess, yeah, probably not as demanding as I should have been as a point guard and being, the oldest on the team. But I think as the season went on, and you see, because players are playing really well, and so you think they understand and they get it, but then when you really break things down, they're still learning. So it was a process, and just making sure that I stayed consistent in teaching them what's happening on the court, the sort of adjustments you need to make, and not only rely on the coaches, but also we're the ones out on the court, so we need to make the adjustments amongst ourselves. And I think I felt like as the season went on, and especially the second half of the season, I think I did a better job of being more of a leader, making sure everyone's on the same page, understanding that we are a really young team, and I did have to speak up a little bit more. I did have to show a little more emotion and make sure we, got ourselves going.
Tyler?
Hey, Leilani, you kind of already answered this question, but what are you going to be able to take into next year when all the players are back and the roster is going to look entirely different? What can you rely back on from this year and bring forward to that new season?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing for us is just the whole process, really. I mean, I'll say that I'm super proud, especially of Ariel Atkins and Maisha Hines Allen. They have just taking their game to a whole nother level. Obviously, Maisha, you see her stats with her points and rebounding. But I think throughout the course of the season, defensively, she improved so much and she was more locked in, where maybe early on she'd take possessions off. And I think as the season went on, both sides of the ball, she improved so much. Same with Ariel. She was huge for us these last 2 weeks. We put them on their best players, our opponent's best players. And she locked in. She got a lot of steals, a lot of balls. And then obviously you saw her scoring, and especially Kiara Leslie as well. I mean, I think all these young players, they're just, we're going to be better next year, and you add in all the talent that we missed out on this year. It should be fun. It should be exciting. This year also, we took a while to adjust and learn coach's system, the way we want to move, the way we want to share the ball. So I think, we finally got that towards the end of the season, and that'll help us next year as well.
Kellen.
As a professional athlete, after a loss like this, like how much do you think about it? Do you think about all the things you could have done differently, or do you just feel like super motivated for next season? Like, what do you take away as a competitive professional athlete?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I feel terrible. It's going to haunt me for a long time. Of course, I'll think about it for a long time. And yeah, it'll be motivation for next year. I mean, especially it being my old team, it would have been nice to knock them out of the playoffs. And I think just the way we played, aside from a few minutes, when they started making all those threes, I think we were the team that deserved to win. We played better for majority of the game. It just, was a heartbreaker at the end.
Last question to Lindsay Gibbs. Let's try again, Lindsay.
Okay.
Right ahead.
That work? Okay. I was wondering what you took from this team's off-court advocacy, from wearing those Jacob Blake shirts and being the some of the leaders of the league on that night that the play stopped, to taking the timeouts and having a national conversation on national television, a conversation about the census and voting rights tonight. What are you going to remember from this season, from that part, and maybe take with you going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think that moment when we decided that we were going to sit out that game, obviously it was sort of a last minute decision, and we came to the game and we sort of had a quick conversation if people would be okay if we were to sit out, but obviously we needed to speak to Atlanta, and they kind of told us, whatever you decide, but we need to think about the future, and it's not just one game, what's going to happen after that. So I know as a team we felt a lot of pressure, because we felt like the league, not only for that game, but there's 2 games following ours, we just felt like we were making a decision for the whole league without being able to speak to all the teams. So it was very emotional. That was a really tough night, and the days following as well, trying to decide what we were going to do moving forward. It wasn't just about that game. We wanted to make changes, which is why we obviously take the shot clock violation to give the broadcasters time to speak about the importance of voting, which is one of our priorities we wanted to push, and also filling out the census. So, and especially being a young team, really proud of the stance we took. And especially Ariel, we kind of threw her on the interview, with live TV, and I think she handled it really well, did a great job.
Thank you, Leilani.
You're welcome.